Saturdays here at Saratoga. The good news is the expected and forecasted rain never came. We're fast, we're firm. Chance some showers arriving after 5 p.m., but most of the turf racing, if not all of it, the only other turf race remaining will be the Diana, the Grade 1 Diana, will have already been run. So we're expecting a tremendous day of racing, a great card, an 11-race card here today. Of course, topped by the first of 20 Grade 1s to meet the Grade 1 Diana, the 10th race. That follows the Sanford for the 2-year-olds as well. A field of 11 will go to post for the Sanford in race number 8. Happy to bring in my co-host, the one and only, the Big A, Anthony Stabile, coming off a big day, a nice day yesterday, 5 winners. You had a good day on opening day. At least one of us has picked some winners.
We'll get there. It's a team effort here, Andy. It's a team effort. Get the job done.
We sing together.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a lot to talk about. We got 11 races to talk about, so we're going to get right to work, and we'll talk about race number 1. Now, I don't think...
Well, first we got to go to NYRA Bets.
I'm just so excited to talk about
That's
the
essential
card.
quality, my man. Come on, he's the Belmont Stakes winner.
He worked this morning. Essential quality. If you follow NYRA, at the NYRA on Twitter, you'll catch all that. Some great stuff, some bath photos from Fran on Twitter today. Sign up for NYRA Bets. Go over to NYRABets.com. Use the promo code SPA200, and we will match for $200 your initial deposit. Play through NYRA Bets. Keep the money in the game in sport racing in New York. Opt in. If you bet $50 to win in the Diana or more, you'll get $20 back towards your Travers bankroll. We're going to have that throughout the meet leading up to Travers, the second to last Saturday of the meet. You have to opt in for that, but that's like free money. If you're going to bet 30, you bet 50, same thing, except you get more action. Cross country pick 6. It's really not, it's cross state. Monmouth and Saratoga, it's a 20-cent minimum. Races 8, 10, 11, culminating with the 8, 10, 11, and then 12, the Haskell around our 2 stakes here, the Sanford and the Diana, all graded stakes. Saratoga Live, 1 to 2 on FS1. 2 to 5:30 on FS2. I'm already confused. 2 to 5:30 on FS2. We'll be on Big Fox, the main Fox network, from 5:30 to 6:30, covering the Sanford and Diana, and back on FS2 for the final race of the day. Exciting day here, Anthony, with Diana. Always one of my favorite races. Race number 1. I was so excited, I couldn't get there fast enough. You've picked the logical horse on top, and that's the 8 Sheriff Bianco, who is clearly way the horse to beat, and is not going to be 9 to 5, in my opinion. By post time will be lower, and probably should be.
Yeah, probably should be. Source's races on the turf are just faster than anybody else in here. And that was it for me, Andy. Really a tough beat by a huge price last time out while making a second start off the layoff. I just thought he made a lot of sense. It's funny. I contemplated taking a swing against him with your horse.
As far as Sheriff Bianco, the horse has been running against a tough horse in King Angelo, who did finally get back to the dirt, the right surface, and ran a huge figure the other day at Belmont in defeat. But he had a duel with that horse, and he's a very talented and very quick horse. And it's hard to believe on paper there will be anybody to keep up with him early. He seems like a very logical horse. As far as I'm blaming you, I'm frequently going to pick a horse I think is an alternative to a heavy favorite to try to give you some options. And I wanted to show the first start and then the end of this horse's debut. The horse does not break, and those are those Paul Redham silks you may remember for I'll Have Another, as well as Nyquist, and just drops out of the race. And the horse inside of him is the eventual winner of the race. And I want you to keep in mind, that's It's a Gamble, who's now a stakes horse and a very nice horse. It's a Gamble cuts the corner. While It's a Gamble is cutting the corner, I'm blaming you, goes 3 to 5 wide, and seemingly loses 4, well, not in the turn. The horse was only 3 wide in the turn, but then went out in the stretch. The point is, I would say It's a Gamble picked up 3 to 4 lengths just by cutting the corner, something Joel Rosario does so well. In a lot of ways, it accounted for a great deal of the margin. And if you look at I'm Blaming You, I don't worry about 2-year-old turf figs that much. It's a Gamble, who's a stakes horse, Thin White Duke, who won stakes in the dirt after that. These horses ran buyers in the 60s doing that, and now they're 80-buyer type horses. I don't think there's anything that says that I'm Blaming You with a fairer trip and improvement couldn't easily be a buyer in this around 70, which is comparable to what the favorite runs. And at a big price, I have to bet a few dollars, and I'm Blaming You.
Yeah, I'm using him in the early pick 5 as well. I'll make an exacta box with the chalk. Listen, you worry a little. I do anyway, about the layoff. It's a long break. It's 10 months. But yeah, it's a private purchase, and
we're going to move kind of quickly through some of these races. I do want to point out Neuro's logical, but doesn't win and has had chances. And the 3 War Smoke. This horse has a big pedigree. You put him 3rd. I left him out, but he's dangerous. 1/2 to 3 turf winners out of 4 to try it. I do wonder a little bit, though, as a War Dancer, if he's a horse that may want more distance.
Little more ground,
but he does have a lot of pedigree, that horse, and is worth mentioning. Race number 2. Races don't always play out. when they look straightforward on on paper. But looking at the number 5, Repo Rocks, coming off a maiden win, an excellent claim by Tom Morley. If he's able to run back to any of his last 4 races, he has this field at his mercy, Anth.
It's, running for the tag the day Tom claimed him gets him eligible for this race. And, I mean, it looks like, I don't want to say free money, but like you said, he's got 4 races.
There's no free money at the racetrack.
No, there's no free money, but he's got 4 races.
Probably a bad term to use in a handicapping
If he's got 4 races that just, I mean, three of the 4 races drown the field.
Actually, I think he ran very, very well in his 1-4 back.
Yeah.
In some ways, as good, if not better, than any of his races because he got left and he was wide against a gold rail that day. He's been in exceptional form. I guess the interesting horse is the one I have third and you have second, Baby Yoda. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time one of these private purchases, these connections for Bill Mott won?
They keep buying geldings too. Like it's really, it's very interesting.
I'm available
right?
if anybody's interested.
They bought
speaking of that.
They bought Dust Devil. Now they buy this horse. I think there's another one tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. There's maybe one yesterday. There's a lot of, they're all floating around. Maybe yesterday, tomorrow.
I have no idea what's going on with all the private purchases.
And I don't know what to do with a horse that's run decent figs out of town. I mean, the last fig does sort of make sense to me, and it backs up. It was a good time for him U.S. rating. You know me. Jake Rocks is second for me. Because
we knew this.
I dream of Jake Rocks.
Yeah. I mean, I put Cause of Action third. I really didn't like anybody else all behind the favorite.
Cause of Action finally runs. He was entered for 10,000
that's the problem.
a week
He was
ago.
entered for 10. He was scratched at least twice that we remember.
20 and 10. He was scratched at Belmont. Race number 3. Race number 3, Anthony and I are going to disagree in race number 3. We'll take a look at Love and Money winning at Monmouth last time, and I'm just a little confused how you could possibly leave this horse out of your top 4. It's completely loose at a mile on the turf.
I didn't. 1-2-11, I have the race.
Oh, I thought you had 111. I missed
1-2-11-9 is what it should read.
Okay, I may have misread it. I thought I didn't see the horse there. Okay, well, that makes more sense. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see if you guys fixed it, okay, to get this guy off the hook. I thought it wasn't. No, it's 111.93. Listen, I'm not. If you're if I can only look at the figures that are here and on the screen. So Anthony's picks are supposed to be 1-2-11 screen. So at least I wasn't wrong.
I haven't gone that crazy yet. It's only been 2 days.
Okay, I mean, this horse. I don't love the idea of 5.5 to a mile. And this horse is a private purchase by Leal Stables, of course, who many remember campaigned the Great Barbaro.
Of course.
As well as many other good horses. Cherie DeVoe takes over. This horse's first race is good. And if he stretches, he's more than ready. He's supposed to stretch.
She's supposed to stretch just fine, yeah.
I am a little interested, though, in the horse that you have on top. We'll take a look at Miss Spell breaking her maiden at Churchill last time. Why do you like her? Because on her fig, she's woefully slow.
Yeah, but those are also 2-year-old figs, and now she's going to get a chance to do it as a sophomore. They liked this horse last year. She ran just Seasons was cut out to be a nice horse. She ran against first time. This effort in the maiden win, I just thought she did it very, very easily. Tyler Gaffalione never takes the stick out on her. Just real confident handling. Looked like she was going to go places, and then now she misses all this time. It's a concern that she misses all of the time.
Sure.
But if anybody's going to have her ready to roll first time out, it's Chad Brown. She's got a nice inside draw going the mile on the turf on the inner.
For what it's worth,
I thought they would have
and I agree with you, and she's not that slow. She can stay a little bit closer. And I think it's up to Irad Ortiz to get her into the game. At some point this meet, there will be more than one horse crawling on the front end in a turf race. 2 will crawl together on the front end because it is getting a little ridiculous. It's a bad start to the meet. Guys, you're compromising all your mounts by never putting them in the game.
Way too many 50s being hung up
Forget
there
about
on
it.
for the
Forgetting
half
about
mile.
that. Well, the turf course has not been firm. I know we listed as firm yesterday. It was good. Probably firmer today because it has been warm. If you look at the field that Miss Spell ran against at Churchill last time and how they've done subsequent, they're far better than the buyer's figures suggest. And it's not to say the figure is wrong. It may just be the nature of 2-year-old turf racing, 2-year-olds going long at this point in their careers. But they're mostly horses that are running 10 or more points higher at this point in their career. Some nice horses in that race. I agree with you. And the other thing, Ant, is I'm just not. Miss Delicious has been allowed to waltz in the front end. She's not getting the lead unless Love and Money forgets to come out of the gate. I mean, third draft is okay. I've got her in third, but I feel like I want the new shooters. I'm just a little tired
Just a
of
bunch
what
of
we've been
horses
looking at.
you don't. You
They're
just a bunch of
okay,
horses you've seen.
but I've just,
You feel like you've seen
right.
their best, and
I
these
don't,
two
no, no,
obviously.
I don't think we've seen their best. I think we've seen who they are.
Yeah.
They're still 3-year-olds who are likely to improve.
Yeah, I guess.
Good trainers, but I don't know that right now they're necessarily that good. Doesn't mean they can't be competitive.
Far more blue sky
but-
with the 2 inside fillies.
Agreed. Race number 4. There's no question in race number 4, the horse you have on top is the horse to beat, and that's Austrian. And we're going to show the start, pan and head on, of the last race at Aqueduct, because this was a race that was dominated in the front end. It's number 6, breaks slowly, already finds himself out of the race. And this was a race that was completely and totally dominated, other than him, by not only horses in front, but horse with inside position. And he never really had that. I mean, he's slow, he bumps, he gets taken out of the race. This horse had legitimate trouble at the start. And we'll pick it up in the stretch. This horse was running. My problem is, hasn't been out now for 3 months, 3 months of the day, and Danny Gargan's barn remains cold. And he had that heavy favorite yesterday who ran a very weird race. Looked like he was going to be last to the turn and ended up re-rallying and galloping out past the field. But at this point, I think your opinion at Belmont, Anthony, which I poo-pooed a little bit, you've been right. This barn is chilly.
Barnes has been cold. Listen, I'm not going to call this a cop-out pick, but this horse.
But it is.
But it is. But this horse has kept the best company, and I think he's run well enough against better company, right? The Strawn's a gold race last time where he didn't have the best beginning. I just think he's, and sometimes it's simple, he's just better than these horses. And he's already proven it. There are some horses in this race that could step up, but they would need to step up to, I think, tackle his best. You make a lot of good points about missing the time now and stuff.
There's no argument against him being the horse to beat. It's fine.
I didn't like any of them enough.
That's fine.
To take a swing against him.
I think that there are 4 major contenders in this race. Not to say that others can't win. The 3 Great Workout, who does have a solid turf pedigree, is half to Mo ready, 3/4 to Mo ready, I guess, because it's an Uncle Mo sire. I don't know what to do with Great Workout because he is kind of a goofy horse, and he was really sort of unprepared for his first start. He was thrown to the wolves in his second start. It was a preposterous spot for him, and he should have been 13-1, not 3-1. Great Nuts Warrior, who I'm not a huge fan of, but he can win. He got a very fast pace when he broke his maiden first time out. But I think he has a chance to win this race for Chad Brown. I'm going to put the last ace on top. I'm not sure what the thought process was on the last ace last time, but the idea that he was rated behind a half and 50, there's really no nice way to put it, so I'll say nothing. It was a mistake to do that. This horse has blinding speed at one time. Now, I know that things haven't gone as well, but he could be 15 in front with a half and 50, and I know Anthony agrees.
No question.
When he loses
Rye
today,
was puzzling last time.
When he loses today, the last ace, which he very well may, lose going in the front end. Don't lose rating a horse that's the lone speed in a race. He's probably not good enough, but find out that he's not good enough the right way, and he's supposed to be in front today. I don't have great confidence in him, but don't do what you did last time. That doesn't give him any chance whatsoever.
Maybe this is overthinking things, but based on how he was ridden last time, if this is the game plan,
make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Big shout out to Johnny and Andrew for fixing our little power outage up here on the set, but we're okay. Anthony got electrocuted, but he's fine. Anyway, let's start with race number 5 and get through the rest of the card. You heard race number 4 last. He's Anthony Stabile, by the way.
Hello.
I'm not. Race number 5, Anthony. Oh.
Andy.
Oh, at some point, Anthony Stabile realized that there was a second page in this race, because Anthony, your picks on the website don't include the 9.
I changed it.
Yes, because you
I
noticed
changed
that
it.
there was a second page.
No. I don't think I turned. I had handicapped the horse. I don't think I turned the page when I wrote the numbers down. Wild. Here, see, look, I had to put it in. But I had the second page right there. Yeah.
You'd think this was a tough job.
So, I got a little push on Shug.
That would be Montauk Point you have on
The
top.
number 7, yes. And I don't ordinarily get pushes from the Shug McGahee barn, but I was told, as horse has a pedigree, they have to. Breeders' Cup
How
Sprint
hard do
winner
they have to
Covfefe.
push you, Anth?
They have to push very, very hard. Shug's numbers first time out are not great, if we're being honest here.
Wait, we'll show them to you. Interesting that Anthony should bring that up.
Here you go.
Shug's numbers.
So here are Shug's numbers first time out.
At Saratoga. Oh, what am I doing here? This is a wrong race. Wrong race, my mistake. That's for the next race. Okay.
Never mind.
I don't know his numbers in these races.
They're not great. Listen, his numbers first time out are not great.
We'll show you those again for the 6th. Maybe it
I
was
was
me
told
that was
this, I was
electrocuted.
told this filly could run. This colt could run.
Is it half 2?
It's a half to Covfefe. I said that before.
It's actually a great family. It's the family of Courtly D, if you go
Courtly,
back,
yep,
which was one
all
of
the way
the great
back.
brood mares of the last 50 years.
So,
Okay, so Anthony's got a tip. I picked the horse that I think is going to win. The 10,
the 9.
the 9, Chat-A-Lot, who Anthony didn't even know was in the race until a few minutes ago.
I knew it was in a race. I got
I
to
meant
turn
to
the
put up
page.
the workout. I forgot to. I apologize for that. It's a very impressive 10 flat at the 2-year-old sales for this horse. It's really not a ton of pedigree, to be honest, but that was a good workout for the right barn. I've gone 9-5-7. Invited guest. I know a lot of these pleasure horses, they don't look like they ran very well at Monmouth, but they seem to improve a lot when they come to New York. And, we have invited guest finishing 2nd to Fight Your Corner, a first-time starter. I don't know. Picked the horse, didn't do a ton of running, got off the rail. Nothing wrong with the rail that day at Monmouth. Didn't run that well, but I thought these horses often improve for Todd coming from Monmouth. I'll use the 9, 5, 7, and 9.
I thought Detroit City, the number 4, ran a little bit of an interesting race. Of the runners, that was the one I wanted the most.
Okay.
Kind of feel like this horse didn't get away from there cleanly. And after that, day was kind of over and he got a little bit of an education. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse improved against John Velasquez second time out.
Yeah, I saw it differently. Horse
Okay.
did break a little slow, came up the rail. I don't know. I just didn't really did much running, but is a horse with experience. That's race number 5. Race number 6 of our 11 race card kicks off the pick 6.
By the way, race
$1.
4, we have a bonus pick 5 today.
Even electrocuted, you're on top of your game. Now, race number 6.
Now we have a Shug stat, but we'll put it up later,
Well,
right?
we'll hang on.
All right.
Don't get ahead of yourself there, big boy. We both have the number 4 portfolio company on top, the firster for Chad
Yeah,
Brown.
I have full to a couple of stakes winners. Charming Kitten. I can't remember the other one right now. You know,
3 of the 7 foals from the dam were pretty good.
I didn't see a ton of turf pedigree in here. Mile and a 16th races. These horses need to be a little fitter than the sprints, obviously. And you're going to trust in Chad to have these. Not that these other trainers aren't, but I feel like I know these horses are going to be ready to go long. The Kitten's Joys more often than not want to go long. This horse's siblings all wanted to go long. They wait to run this horse long. I went with Portfolio Company.
As did I, and is pedigree. I think there is some pedigree in here. As far as informal, the horse you have second, The Dam was very good in the turf, informal. She produced 3 good horses. Not a lot recently, which bothered me. I did find this stat for Shug. The Damned Has You Look is 21 years old now. She's getting older. 0 for 8, 2 hitting the board with 2-year-old first-time starters and turf routes at Saratoga for what it's worth. Not something. Overall, he's just 2 for 22. These horses usually need a start, but doesn't mean they. Some have run okay, and I just, looking through, I thought the one, James Aloysius, the Dam was okay. It's her first foal. She was a Chad Brown horse that ran Europe as well and ran 90 buyers, so she was pretty good, actually. The 6.5 to top decile, who hit the board in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, actually, for Al Stall.
She win the Alcibiades?
Seems she went it around second.
She was
a Karvich horse.
Yeah, she was 1, 2, I
had.
Yeah.
The 10 is the one with the pedigree. 3 of the 4 from the Dam. The Dam was extremely good. Won 11 to 24 on the turf. Rutharian for $1.28 million. 3 of the 4 foals try the turf that won. But $27,000 for that pedigree, it just has a little stench to it, doesn't it?
That's a 10 hole, and that purchase price kind of scared me away a little bit.
And I would use the 5. I mean, the horse has turf experience going 2 turns. It's not that it wasn't particularly good, but that matters a lot. And Brendan Walsh is such a good trainer coming off a great meet.
Gets an equipment change, 2 pair of blinkers for the 3rd start.
How are we doing for time, Anth? We got plenty of time. We're good. Even electrocuted, you're rolling right along.
I've been electrocuted at a bodega on 101st Avenue and Woodhaven Boulevard back in Queens.
Well, that explains a lot.
I was electrocuted. That's a true story.
What were you like before it?
I was normal.
Race number
Somewhat.
7, 5.5 furlongs on the Mellon turf course. And
this was a doozy, huh? I had a tough time with this race.
The 1 and 1A are both running, and they're both speed horses, which is kind of odd. But let's talk about Duress, the horse that you and I both have on top in this race. Coming out of the race, finishing behind Ghoul, who picked up the... oh, that's it. The thing I liked about Duress was the one who was tacking the pace first in a race that really totally just incinerated in the last 1/8 of a mile, coming off a layoff, and I thought actually ran very, very well in this race and was super logical.
The proverbial eyeballs out. I mean, this horse ran so well last time. Like you said, everything else incinerates. He's digging in. He almost holds the place money here.
Thank God he didn't.
Oh, that's right.
A monster
that was
exacta
you.
score there.
That was you with the wild result.
Totally lucky getting up for second.
Holiday Stone actually went to Woodbine for the Connaught Cup tomorrow. I picked him in there. Because it looks like
you doing talking horses up at Woodbine tomorrow?
No.
Really? So that'll be 38 shows.
I did it for the weekend stakes preview presented by Naira Bets
Jeff Bratt
last night. Jeff does not know. Yeah, I mean,
this
horse is supposed to get a pretty similar setup to the one he got last time. Hopefully he doesn't have to do as much heavy lifting chasing that pace. He's got some pace. Like you said, though, both parts of this entry are running. And they're both really, I know they're 2 different trainers, but they're really fast horses.
They're quick horses. I agree with you. And as we take a look at Checky Shabazz losing to Battle Station, who's in here, and we'll talk about Battle Station in a minute. I mean, the truth of this race is Checky Shabazz was supposed to win last time.
You know nobody has more love than Shecky.
You liked him last time.
He's got to close the door. The old Shecky keeps on going here, but the old Shecky
was trained by somebody who's not
yes.
is currently under federal indictment.
And listen, Kendrick Harmouche gave Battle Station a great ride. He gave him a great ride up here last year to win the stakes. He gave him a great ride this day, and he ran by a horse that's obviously lost a step.
Well, let's talk about Battle Station. Has he really lost a step?
No, I was talking about Shecky losing a step.
Oh.
He ran him down. Listen. You preach this to me all the time, and I'm starting to get through my hard head, as we call it in Italian, gabadost, hard head. He keeps working out perfect trip after perfect trip. It's hard to keep handicapping a horse that's gonna work out a perfect trip.
Battle Station.
Yeah, Battle Station.
I know.
It's really and now.
But he dealt with Faya last time.
He did.
I don't love him in here, but I think he's okay, better than he looks. You know, the thing is, you go to the race, okay? Even if you like Happy Mac, you can't bet him because he's an entry for Checky Shabazz. By the way, Checky Shabazz can win. I picked him second, but you're not getting any value with him. You're getting a poor value entry. Chimney Rock, he's second off a layoff. I guess it's possible. I mean, he did beat Jack and Noah when he came back at Churchill, but that was a year ago, and then he comes back and he doesn't do any running. So we're assuming that Chimney Rock now, who ran 2 times basically as a 3-year-old, essentially, and then he's run once as a 4-year-old. Can we trust him?
No.
I mean, obviously he has some ability and he can win, but I don't trust him.
No.
Super Dormy looked a little slow.
I'm going to tell you, I like if there was a live long shot element of this program,
there is. You can say there is one.
I think Competitive Saint
Why?
is a live long shot today. He's run well. He ran well on his debut, and he ran well off of the May to July layoff when he first came around. I thought he was okay behind Jack and Noah when Jack and Noah was in good form. I don't know what happened at Kentucky Downs.
Who did he beat? He just sort of ran
Hold on,
second.
but
Okay.
I don't really care what happens at Kentucky Downs because that place is like unto itself. And then last time he draws post 11. He tries stakes horses. He tried the allowance. He drew post 11, and his day was kind of over when he was 5 wide on the far turn. So now he gets a little bit of he gets a break. He's run well fresh. He's a big price. There's some pace in here. At double digits, and this horse is going to get lost in the shuffle. There's too many horses to bet.
I looked at him quite a bit, and I hear you. And he's a big price, and I'm not going to knock throwing him in. And George Weaver especially, a guy who's put over some big prices here. And this is a horse that won it for him last year at a big price. For what it's worth, 180-day plus layoffs in the turf and sprints. Weaver's just 3 for 25, and he's 1 for 14 at Saratoga, I believe. So it's not something he's done well with. Having said that, I agree. I worry he's not good enough, but he's a price, and I'm not knocking him. Believe me, I gave him a long look. I mean, Gear Jockey's not a bad horse, but I'm not a big guy on turnbacks in the turf, and it
Especially
seems like
to the
just sort of
5.5, right?
Well, no, it's not. I don't care about that. I don't care about 5.5, 6. No, it's no difference to me at all. But it's more. Suddenly, he's decided to try him in a turf sprint. It's not like he ran a couple turf sprints early or something. Suddenly, they're taking a shot. Now, maybe he will be effective. For what it's worth, Rusty Arnold turning back on the turf is just 4 for 25. So he hasn't had a lot of success. But he is talented enough to be effective. Mount Travers didn't do any running as one turf race. And Gould is mostly a suck-up. It's an interesting race. We like the same horse. But there's a lot going on in here. And this is a fun race.
There is a lot going on.
Race number 8 is just a tremendous war. I mean, this race, this should be the feature.
This late pick 5 today is sensational.
Yeah, no, this is an incredible run of races here.
It's like having 4 stakes today.
And there are
this one.
almost guaranteed graded stakes quality horses in this race, and you've already got 2 that have been effective in graded stakes already over the last year. We're going to start the conversation with the horse you have on top, Bo Liam, who I thought David was crazy making the second choice, thinking he couldn't be sure than Crowded Trade. I didn't think he might be favored in this race. You like him, I don't. Go ahead, and then I'll give my spiel.
Look, I'm going to get a ration of it for this. I mean, this horse just annihilated these horses. And this horse...
Well, wait a second. This horse drew off. This horse was under a full-out drive like he was in a stretch duel. Unfortunately, because we were blocking it. This horse, he drove this horse like there was a horse inside of him, Anthony. This horse did not, impressively bury the field. He was under a drive. Is that inaccurate?
I almost wonder if that was done purposely. Because this is a guy, Santana and Asmussen,
well, I don't think it was done
will
by
wrap
accident.
these horses up. No. They will save something.
Okay, I don't know about that voodoo, but
I almost
he was
wonder if
ridden
they're
hard. That's all I
trying to
know.
play a little catch-up with this horse and trying to get some more out of this
but
horse.
let's
and
stick to what we
real
know.
race
He was
into it.
hard-ridden to win that race.
He was ridden to win that race by as far as he did.
Okay, but he was hard-ridden. No, Anthony, my only point is he didn't win easily. He was hard-ridden. He buried the field.
I think you could be, well...
Why don't want anybody just give me this nonsense that this was a horse that had something in the tank and they saved something for the next time?
I almost like it better that he was ridden through the wire.
Okay, fine. Now, he came against an overmatched field, and that's a legit race. I'm not knocking him. That's a legit good race. I'm not knocking him. But he ran against an overmatched field, breaking from an outside post, where he could settle in a good stalk in third behind a solid pace. But 21-3 at 6 furlongs at Churchill is not over the top because it's normally like a 22 here. Now he draws the rail in a speed-laden field, going 7 against some quality runners. He is in a completely different ball game than he was in last time, and he's a short price. That's my problem with him.
Here,
and I'm not saying he can't win.
In my defense, I did not check the morning line. I, like you, did not think this horse would be 3-1 on the morning line.
But he is.
I thought
he wasn't going to be 8-1.
No, I thought he would be 6-1.
No,
I thought he'd be
he's never 6-1.
You think he's going to be lower than Crowded Trade?
David does. You pick him. A lot of people pick this horse. I could be wrong about him. I put him 5th. I'm not saying he can't win here, but I think under the circumstances last time versus today, he's a horse that rates to be overbet in this race.
Okay.
And he's facing some very, very good horses.
He is.
Now, listen, these horses for Steve Asmussen, they seem to come here, and I haven't liked them in the past, and I've been dead wrong. Yalpan, I couldn't have been more wrong about him in the races up here last year.
He's got a little Yalpan feel to him.
No, I'm not. But this is, you will not disagree. This is a totally different scenario than last time.
Completely different. Completely different scenario. Yep.
And one of the reasons is the horse on the outside.
Mahamel.
Thank you, Anthony.
You're welcome.
For that. We'll take a look at him winning last time. And he's run fast in both his races, lost to the undefeated Dwyer winner, First Cabin's first start. My only question with him is he missed the July 5th Dwyer because he had a little bit of a fever and he's back pretty quick. Now, Todd's like a runner if he's not doing well. Maybe he didn't really want to run him in the Dwyer. He draws well on the outside, and you can't deny he's a major player.
No, he does. Yeah, and you know what? I don't know about you.
Horse.
I like to see these races start to churn out runners, right? First Captain wins, Mahamel comes back. Even Repo Rocks came back and won. I like to see it when these horses start to, when they're bunched, and you see that there's a good race, that you can find a little bit of a key race. Listen, he was really good last time. I have a problem. I don't know what he beat last time, but he sure did it the right way.
One of them's in the last race today.
Yeah, he sure did it. I don't like the horse in the last race today necessarily. The horse can win.
Well,
it was the way he
here
did
or
it.
There.
Todd put a pair of blinkers on this horse last time after his first race, which was very, very good. I wonder if he's still a little bit of a work in progress. And that's why he missed
I like
the Dwyer.
Crowded Trade, and I think the Crowded Trade is a sprinter. I think he's a 7-furlong type horse. We're going to look at the Gotham, his second start. And he didn't break as badly as he's broken in the past, but he didn't break that sharp, and he was rushed up and wide. And he had the race won, but the horse came back inside and beat him. That was Weyburn. Weyburn's running the Jim Dandy. Weyburn just got beaten at the wire by Mandaloon, who may end up being the Kentucky Derby winner. If not, he'll be the second place finisher. He's a serious horse. This was his second career start after breaking his maiden. They tried him in the mile and eighth in the Wood Memorial. He ran very effectively. He couldn't finish the deal, and then they tried the Preakness, and he wasn't good enough. Now he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's going a one-turn 7 furlongs. He gets a race with pace. He draws a good post. I happen to agree with you. I think he'll be second choice in here. It'll be close with him. Now, I'll say one thing, though. If I'm wrong about Bo and Liam and you're right, he'll be third choice Crowded Trade. Because when they're right about these Asmussen horses, they're bet.
They take money.
They take money. So that... It'll be interesting. This is a very strong matchup. I mean, we haven't even talked about other horses in this race. I think we have to talk about Table for 10. 10 for 10, excuse me.
Yeah.
This horse has run very well in all of his races for Shug. Unfortunately, he was supposed to be the star in Florida, and Greatest Honor was going to be the one that came to New York. He got hurt, and Greatest Honor ended up winning 2 stakes down in Florida. This is a very, very good horse, and he, much like my horse, now he's shown speed. He's not going to be in front in this race. What's wrong with 7 furlongs for him,
Nothing. There's nothing. It's a tough distance to win at, first off the bench,
Ran well fresh, though. Ran well in his first start.
He did run well in his first start. He gets Lasix for the first time.
What about Witzel, who you and I have third? I mean,
I think Witzel is the little bit of the wild card in here,
no
right?
question about
he's
it.
on the private purchase from a low percentage, from a low percentage barn.
Just not a low percentage. Somebody you never heard of.
Never heard of the guy.
Not
low
no disrespect, but
haven't seen the horse since December. But he ran a race at Tampa Bay Downs that. He's another one getting Lasix, gets a Rat Ortiz Jr. He could be the one, right? I like to say it. He could be the first one to come calling on these horses from right off the pace. Comes out of a pretty fast race early on. And Rat will have him, you would think, in good position. This is one of these races.
Do you think that fig is wrong, the 83? If it's wrong, it's too low. That's a fast race.
This is one of those races where you feel like you need to spread.
We haven't even left. Sorry, go ahead.
And Mahamel may just come out and beat these horses, and you're using 4. You're going 4 deep, and you get the horse to pay 6-10.
You don't even have what do you think now, and I don't know if he's quite good.
That's my boy.
He's no bum.
He's no bum.
I mean, there's going to be some very good horses in this race that don't finish in the superfecta.
There are going to be some horses in this race that run like 88 buyer figures that are going to finish 6th.
Yeah, this is a terrific race. That's honestly, it's a stake. It's an allowance race.
Yeah.
A stake race masquerading as an allowance. Is that the way you say it? And we have 11 for the Sanford. We did have a scratch, so we now have the same size field that when a Fleet Alex won it in 2004. And that field includes Witt. And we'll take a look at the start of Witt's race. You'll see in those Rapoli. Oh, it's actually not Rapoli Silks. Was it Rapoli first time, and now this time it's, it was Rapoli here and Vinnie Viola Silks today, I believe. Doesn't break. Ends up in back. He's obviously good.
Goes between horses here.
He's obviously good.
Yep.
I didn't want to show the head on, but you
That's
can.
Churchill Downs.
Yeah, that was Churchill. That wasn't part of this video. But
Yeah,
hey,
no.
there's nothing like that's actually for the next video. So
That's
take that
actually
back,
for
guys. That's the next
Ottoman
video.
Empire.
We could show you Witt finishing last time, but that's okay. That was Ottoman Empire. We'll rewind that and show the little bit of that in a minute.
After Witt broke slowly, he kind of got a little education in between the horses and stuff, and then he just, he went
Let me
about
ask
his
you a
business, and
question.
that was it. Yes.
I'm not big on. I don't believe this rail stuff. I think way too much is made of horse running the rail. This is not the post you wanted to draw with this horse.
And when it happens, right, you blindly, maybe not. This horse is broken from an inside draw and has had trouble in his only other start. Yeah, it's a concern. It's absolutely a concern. I think the concern is negated by the fact that he
It's not
took
negated,
that-
Anthony. It may be mitigated. It's not negated.
It's mitigated by the fact that he took that trouble and just completely tossed
Well,
it aside. Now the
except-
water gets a lot deeper, of
Right.
course.
The likelihood that he's not running against at least some better horses in this
Yeah.
race is very, very thin. You've got the two Candy Landing second. I didn't know what to do with this horse. I thought this horse worked out a very good trip.
He did, but what's to say he's not going to do it A again and
No,
B?
that's fair. That's fair.
Let me ask you this question.
That's fair.
Are there any horses in here that showed you that much speed that doesn't lead you to believe that Jimmy Graham could just put this horse on the lead today? 'Cause
Yeah.
I think he could just put this horse on the lead today.
Isn't the
There's
six
not a lot of speed
Maryland,
in this
Maryland
race.
Brando? By the way, do you happen to know who the Maryland Brando is? Isn't that kind of the question of the day? Anyhow,
Who's Maryland? I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, there must be a Maryland
It's
Brando.
probably Maggie Wolfendale.
She's Marlon Brando.
She's Maryland.
Boy,
Brando.
she really must be complimented by
She's
that.
from Maryland. She's probably a good
Okay.
actress. I'm
Good
sure
answer.
Maggie's a good actress.
Ottoman Empire, the Tom Amos horse, and yeah, it was very painful picking a Tom Amos horse on top. I'm
You
gonna
have a fever when you
say
picked
it
this
right
horse last
now.
night?
This horse can run. Doesn't break. Now, we've already seen it once, but we're going to show you the head-on again of this horse, and then we're going to show you the stretch run. This horse doesn't break, lugs in badly at the start, and he's turning his head, and he does this the whole race because we'll pick it up in the stretch. And the truth is, when two-year-olds do this first time out, they don't win.
He's running sideways
They-
and forwards
they
at the same
don't-
time.
they
They don't do
don't-
that.
they don't win.
No, they don't. And he doesn't.
And because Tom Amos is one of the greatest trainers in the history of the game, and by the way, I don't kid. Tom Amos is a great trainer. I tease him nonstop. I only tease him because he is a great trainer. I'm not saying he's going to be perfect today, but there's a reasonable chance that he'll be a lot better behaved in his second start.
You'd imagine there would
And
be, right?
Given how well he ran under those circumstances, why can't he win here?
He can. He absolutely can. I got him third. There's no reason he can't win.
Yeah.
You and I kind of saw this race.
Well, I mean, it's not that surprising. As
No.
far as the 9 headline report, that horse could win here, right?
Sure.
I mean,
You
he did
wonder-
win a 5-horse race at 1-5, but
I think you wonder.
Leaving him
I
out,
wonder a
8 or
little bit where
50K.
he's been. He could have run in the Tremont, I guess. And
well, see, I'm going to disagree with you and say that Wesley Ward, when he likes his horses, he races them sporadically. When he doesn't like them, he runs them race after race. And I'm going to say he's running this horse like paid $850 for him. And don't forget, they paid $850 for him in March. They ran him a month later at Keeneland. If Wesley thought he was fragile or just a horse that, wasn't going to turn be good, he might have run him back. I think the fact that he's waited is probably a good sign for
make
him.
a great point.
Well, I don't know if it's a great point. A reasonable point.
Eh,
Here's my opinion on this race. Witt is absolutely the horse to beat. He's going to be way overbet. He's got a name, Witt. He's was run on Belmont Day. Everybody's been talking about him. And I feel like it's an 11-horse field, and he's going to be 6-5 or less. David was conservative, and I don't blame David. And I just feel like
he's closer to even money than
I feel
8-5.
like there's other things going on in here than Witt. And his first race didn't say to me he's a superstar. Say his horse didn't get out of the gate, and he ran a reasonable race first time out. Race number 10 is the first of 20 grade ones?
20.
20.
20 grade 1. 2-0.
That means there's 19 left, much like you have 36 shows left after this. You're never going to live that down. Anthony
know what
already
the
whined. Anthony will not.
It was not a
Anthony will
whine.
not be on the last Saturday at the meet. This imbecile named Andy Beyer will be on
It's
Saturday.
not a whine.
And Anthony already
I
complained to
just
me this
made a
morning about it.
point.
So
I
I'm
like
going
to be
torture him
exact about
every
things, Andy.
single day.
I like to be exact
I'm so
about
excited by the
things.
Diana. So I think one of the first Diana I remember, Glowing Tribute won it. Glowing Tribute not only won the Diana, she is the broodmare of Wild Applause, who won as a 3-year-old. And she is the broodmare of Glowing Honor, who won it twice. So she's had 3 wins. She's also the broodmare of the guy out in the paddock,
Yes.
Sea Hero, as well as Coronation Cup, who has a race named for her tomorrow. Weah beat Pearl Necklace in this race, and Pearl Necklace won it the following year. Pearl Necklace, a Maryland bred, who won $400,000 the hard way in the mid-'70s, when that was like $8 million now.
For those of you who don't know Glowing Honor, the guy that owned her, we named the turf course after.
Yes, that would be Paul Mellon. He owned
outside
Glowing
turf
Tribute as
course
well.
After.
Weah beat Pearl Necklace. She set a track record, maybe a world record, but definitely a track record that day. Weah, one of my all-time favorite horses, came here for Daniel Wildenstein, later raced for Peter Brandt as well, won Grade 1s on turf and dirt. It's a who's who of Gamely won this.
Sure.
Shu V won it. Chad Brown's won it 5 straight times, including twice recently with Sister Charlie.
6 overall.
I mean, you want to look at a great race at Saratoga and at Naira. Go look at the stakes history for the Diana.
Him and Johnny V have each won 6 runnings of the Diana. They're going to team up today to try to get number 7 together with Pocket Square.
John Velasquez gave, in my opinion, one of the greatest rides of a great career when he won this race for Bobby Franco with that filly that went on to win the Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf at Arlington.
Banks Hill?
No. Banks Hill was a European.
Not Banks Hill.
I'm having a.
Was it a Judmont filly or was it his?
No, it was Bobby owned her.
Was it Stall Former?
No, Bobby owned her, I said. He didn't own Judd.
Bobby owned her.
Yes. I'm just having a moment.
Wow.
Steve will text me and let me know the name. Yeah, this is an amazing race. And we'll start off with Harvey's Little Goyle and Lamista running 1-2. They both had perfect trips. Harvey's Little Girl had the benefit of having more speed. I'm going to go with this 1-2 finish in the Diana. You're going to try to reverse it.
Yep. But it's
Starine. I'm embarrassed. I apologize.
Yes. Yeah, we want the 2 horses out of the bogey. And I think that Lamista is going to Lamista is going to improve second start in this country. I think a little bit more ground is going to help her. That's not to say Harvey's Little Goyle is hurt by the added distance, but I do believe that Lamista will be benefited greatly by a little bit more ground, the experience here, and the fact that I would imagine this pace is going to be a little more contested than it was in the bogey with Summer Romance in the race, trying to set it up again for Althea.
Well, wait a minute. Should not be tested. Summer Romance could be clear.
Well,
Harvey's Little Goyle isn't even faster than Vigilante's Way.
But don't you have to be forward with Harvey's Little Goyle?
Yeah, you got to be forward, but she's not going to be in front. Oh, I mean, see, I think Harvey's Little Goyle is a quality Grade 1 type horse on turf and dirt. The difference that might make her better turf horse might, and I won't be shocked if Bill Mott tries to personal Ensign with her after this race. I'm not saying she will,
but
I won't be shocked.
Speed on the turf.
She seems to show more speed on the turf. Now, maybe they could put her in the game more on the dirt. I prefer the fact that Harvey is at least a little more forward than Lamista. Believe me, I was on the fence. I could have gone either way in here. I do like them the most. I think they may be the 2 best horses in here, but I'm scared of the duo from
Godolphin.
Godolphin, and we'll take a look. What was that? It's like a relative. It was like a dinosaur or something landed on my hand. Because Summer Romance is clear. And, I mean, Althea had to alter course to the inside to make her rally, which is never that easy thing to do. And she still ran her down. I'm a little worried how strong this race was. The 4th-place finisher blew the break, or she would have been right there. And it's a 1-turn race going to a 2-turn race, which I think favors Summer Romance of the 2. I feel like they had their day, but the problem is they both ran well. And in saying I'm trying to beat them, I got to hope they both don't run back to that race. And that's a tough thing to do. Of the 2, I prefer the one with speed, though, Summer Romance.
Okay.
But I'm scared of both of them.
I prefer the other filly with getting a little bit more ground, because it certainly looked like
Why is more ground better?
Well, because I think she overcame that, I don't want to say traffic, but she had to do some, there was some maneuvering in the stretch that enabled her to get there going the mile. I just think going the mile and an 1/8, she'll have a little bit more time to settle and make the run. I think the ground's going to help her a little bit more. to be honest.
Yeah, I don't. You and I think very differently about those two things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that she won't be fine with more ground, but I usually go to the one that has speed in those situations. They're both dangerous. I don't like pocket square. I know that Chad was high on her going into the just a game, and she didn't have the best of trips. She was 3 wide in there. She didn't run at all.
She was terrible.
And she beat bad horses when she won her return race. So she'll maybe run better here. I just don't know if she's good enough. And there's some really good fillies and mares in this race. I mean, frankly, even the horse in the rail, La Signari, isn't a bad horse. And I also think you have to say that Magic Attitude and Harvey's Little Goyle were affected by the yielding conditions last time out, and that's why they ran poorly. And, you know, this is Magic Attitude in Sheepshead Bay. I am absolutely worried about her wanting more distance. Mile and eighth may be too short for her, but she's a pretty good horse.
She's a really nice filly.
And
really nice
I don't
filly.
want to completely dismiss her because we may have get a little rain by the time this race is run, but we need to get a reasonable amount of rain for it to really affect the course. And if this course is firm, and I'll take a look at the weather app. By the way, if you don't have a weather app, you can get this app on your phone that tells you weather, and you don't have to ask people on Twitter. Yeah, now they're saying maybe a shower in mid-afternoon, but nothing until after 6, maybe.
This
race may be running a firm turf course. Probably
Distance
will.
bothers me more than it bothers you. I think ultimately.
No, I didn't say it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It bothers me a lot. But I think she's good. They're left to
I
talk
do
in the
too,
picture a little bit.
But I think at the 9, she's kind of up against it because she has 3, maybe 4 fillies that are far better suited to this distance
That's fair.
than she is.
That's fair. That's fair.
Right, if this was a 1.25 miles, she'd be 1, 2, 3 for me. But the fact that it's a 1 1/8 miles.
I'm also not convinced she's quite good enough. Muda Makina, with all due respect,
That's fair enough, too.
Antoinette are not as good as these horses. So I'm also a little concerned. Now, in fairness, when she didn't run that well in the Hillsborough, she got a ridiculous trip that day.
Awful trip.
Buried up the rail, had absolutely no chance the way the race was run.
Awful trip.
Can't
Yep.
wait for the first grade one of the meet, the Diana. It's a good one.
It's the first of 20, you know.
First of 20, I heard that. And
Yeah.
Chad Brown will be looking to win an unprecedented 6th straight, 7th overall.
Sixth
Bill Mott
straight.
will be looking to win his 5th Diana as well.
First one, this race produced his first grade 1 winner, Zagora, Chad Brown's, back in 2011.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Breeders' Cup was not a great, the Juvenile Phillies Turf was not a grade 1
You're
back
just
then.
Full. I know that. I knew where you were
Yeah.
going with that. You didn't trick me with that. Okay, I didn't bite. You tried.
I've tricked people. I should have known
You've tricked far less
should have known better.
erudite racing fans than myself.
Harry-
I'm going to say
Harry-
it right
Harry
up
Rice?
front
What'd you
about
say?
race number 11. I have no idea in this race.
I wanted to.
I picked a 9 knowing he'd probably be scratched. Not because I don't trust my picks. I think the 2 can win. I think the 4 can win. I think the 5 can win. I think the 7 can win. And I think the 8 can win.
You don't even need me here, right, to say why I like
No.
the 2 Cool Quest. I just
No,
want to go to the lead.
Yeah, you're taking Cool Quest to
Yeah.
wire. My problem is the other speed ran 3rd, and the other speed isn't that good. That's my problem. The other speed went 53, 67, and then got a 76 buyer in this race as the speed. So I don't have any confidence in the horse. The duel with this horse who finished ahead of him is that good. So just because he showed speed, and I don't disagree with you, and he's a second-time starter and he can win
Yeah.
for a sharp outfit in Brian Lynch, but I was hoping the speed in there ran last. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And was an okay horse, and then I was going to pick this horse. I mean, we'll show Ducal for Brad Cox finishing second to Time Levers in a dead heat. I think the race is legit. Got an 81 first time out. A Juddmonte horse. Seemed like a legit race. This horse, I mean, to me, I can't find a significant reason to love any of these horses
None.
over the others.
Zero.
Asking for Baskin maybe moved up in a wet track, but it was first time in the dirt, and it wasn't that wet a track, and might get a little moisture by the time this race is run anyway.
They ran that horse first time turf asking for Baskin. Then he comes back and runs that second on the mud.
Tamahamo might have already won the
Blickers.
war in the 8th race by the time. This horse
Right.
could just be better than these. I mean, sometimes you out wise guy yourself and you think, I don't know, my track, I want to see it again. Horse ran a 93 buyer, could blow this field out of the water. As far as Southern Flag, he's been a bad actor. I wonder if a little shorter is going to be better for him. I wonder if
might.
they go a little bit faster early and it's a shorter race, it'll allow him to settle a little bit more. And I wonder if Bill, cutting back in distance, was thinking that, because he's kind of gotten rank and he's been very hard for the rider, and he just didn't finish last time. Miles D was finishing, and he wasn't. So maybe a little less distance will help him. He's running out of chances, but he has run well in both his starts. Lemon Drop Road is obviously a contender in here.
This late pick 5 is bananas today.
It's
Great late pick 5.
To me, you never want it to rain. But there are cards you look at and go, well, if it has to rain, today might not be a bad day for it to rain, because it's going to rain some days. You looked at this card, and you never wanted to rain a Saturday. So many people come and enjoy being in Saratoga, and you hate to think of being in the rain. But it was the card. You looked at this card and said, God, I don't ruin this card, you know?
Don't ruin it, yeah.
And it feels like we got lucky. So
far,
that's
so good.
So I was saying today on
Knock
Twitter,
wood.
next time it's supposed to be 0 chance of rain and a storm moves through out of nowhere, remember today's Saturday and this great card, and we're so happy to be back.
Right, don't complain on a Wednesday.
No, this is the kind of card that horse players dream of. This is a sensational card, a big field, options at prices throughout the day.
You know where you should play it?
You make a great point. You should play it through NYRA Bets. If you are not a member of NYRA Bets, you're really on top of your game today, Anthony. I got to really, so far at this meet,
been up since 5 o'clock.
They're going to, through the next 36 of 37 shows,
Here we
theoretically, that you'll be doing, which could get less and less depending on what happens. Head over to NYRABets.com. If you're not a member, use the promo code SPA200 and sign up for NYRA Bets. If you play through NYRA Bets, you do two things. You keep the money in the game. There are too many ADWs that siphon money out of racing. Horse racing needs to reinvest the game with the horsemen, with the owners who put their money up, just like the bettors, and need to do that. We need to reinvest, whether it's in the backstretch, wherever it is. You can't take the money again. You play through NYRA Bets, the money gets reinvested. You keep the money in New York racing. Travers Bankroll Builder, you bet 50 or more to win in the Diana today. This will continue up the Travers to build your bankroll. You get 20 of it back.
It's exactly 50.
What if you bet 51?
It's exactly $50.
So if you bet 50, what if you come back and bet another 200?
I think you're fine, but you have to make a $50 bet.
And you got to opt in with that bet.
Yes, opt in with everything now.
Okay.
You can opt in for the whole weekend,
There's
by the way.
pick 6 with Monmouth, all graded stakes. 4 at Monmouth, 2 at Saratoga, 8, 10, 11, and 12 at Monmouth, interspersed around 9 and 10 here. The 12th is the Haskell. I don't even know who's running. I do.
I like Following C.
I like Hot Rod Charlie because I love Hot Rod Charlie.
Okay.
I've learned to love him. I'm just rooting for Hot Rod Charlie. We're on FS1 okay, wow. This has changed. No. That's Sunday. Okay.
That's Sunday, guys.
What are we doing here? Okay.
That's Sunday, guys.
That doesn't help us. We're on FS1 from
There
1 to
we
2,
go.
FS2, 2 to 5:30, and 6:30 to 7. And as the next slate will tell you, we are on Big Fox, the major Fox network, 5:30 to 6:30, bringing you the Sanford and the Diana as well. It is our pleasure to be able to bring this to our great fans. We've done over 20 million in handle.
Rushing Fall right there.
We've done over 20 million in handle the first 2 days here, each day. A record, Saratoga. We can't do it without you. So a big thank you.
Thanks,
to
everyone.
all of the bettors out there, the people who fuel the game. We can't do it without you. And that was Rushing Fall, last year's winner of the Diana for trainer Chad Brown and owner Bob Edwards. We haven't sucked up to Bob recently, so I know
I'll
you
see
want
Bob
to.
tomorrow.
He must be excited. You're warned, Bob. You, a reprise of Scratch and Changes from the great and one and only John Embrielle.